It was 42 degrees this morning, and at 42 degrees, we're not too far from a frost. Now it's going to warm up. Well, let's look at the peppers. This is about all I have left growing right now. I hadn't planted anything for fall yet. So, but let's look at the peppers, because I took the shade cloth off, about a month ago, month and a half maybe, when the when the temperatures started going sub 100. Then I took the shade cloth off. Shade cloth kept them alive all summer long. Last summer wasn't as hot as this summer, and last summer I lost all my peppers, lost all my tomatoes to the heat. Kept them watered. I've got them all irrigated. Every one of them have an irrigation tube in it. These are all earth boxes. So, and I did the same thing last year. I kept them all irrigated, but the heat just killed them last year. And this year was even hotter than last year. So my point is, shade cloth works. Shade cloth really, really did a great job of keeping them alive during the summer. They didn't produce much. They didn't, you get that hot and they didn't want to bloom or anything, but they stayed alive. And I got a pepper every now and then, not a bunch of them. But now that I've taken the shade cloth off and they've made it through, and I fertilized them about maybe a month or so ago, maybe longer than that. Should fertilize them again, probably one more time. But fertilized them, and I got peppers everywhere. Some nice Jopalina peppers. Those are some nice ones, and just happy to get them. Seem like they've gotten a little hotter than they were earlier this year, but still, this really nice, good peppers. Again, these are the jalapenos. Trying to find a good example, really nice one, but they're all good. I mean, they're just a little. Seem to be, maybe I've just sweetened up a little bit through the summer, but they seem to be a lot hotter. And I've heard that heat can make them grow a little hotter. But so anyway, this is the heatless habanero, and I've got some jalapeno in here too. Apparently, I've got something mixed up, because this is supposed to be heatless habanero, and boy, they just bushed out. They're 3 feet tall. And just bushy. I mean, really look good. I don't have that many peppers. Well, I do too. There's one. I've got more. They kind of hide. They really blend in with the foliage, and the heatless habanero do. But I really like them. They're really good tasting. Oh, I've got a bunch of them back here I just didn't see. So there's one right there. One above it coming on. I got quite a few. I need to come out and pick some. And then this is the Marconi Red. It's a giant, called a giant Marconi Red. And these aren't quite as big. They're making good peppers, but not quite maybe not quite as big as the jalapenos are getting, because these are supposed to get real big. These giant Marconis get pretty good size. That looks more like a jalapeno, but it's supposed to be a giant Marconi. So I don't know about that, but I did have some problems figuring out. Apparently, I had some problems figuring out what was what when I was when I was planting them or repotting them or something, because I've got some mixed up here that are supposed to be something else. That's the heatless habanero, but some decent size. Marconi's. I mean, that's not bad. Marconi's not a hot pepper, not at all hot, sweet pepper, but it's really, really good. There's another decent sized one right there. That's a good one. My wife really likes these. I like these too, but every now and then I want a little bite to it. Well, I just saw a limb that broke off, and that is off of the, that's the giant Marconi's. I'll take those indoors. A limb broke off of them. It was hanging down full of fruit, so I'll take that in. But just wanted to tell you that the shade cloth worked. So get you some shade cloth next summer. Get it now if you want to. get it next summer and throw it over. Make sure you got something over your vegetables that, you know, gives you a tent-like thing to, you know, where you can throw shade cloth on it. And all it did was shade at noon and afternoon. In other words, a shade cloth, the sun, I'm standing at the east sun, morning sun would come up and hit it, and then it would come up and the shade cloth was hanging over and over the back of it, all the way down almost to the ground on the back. So it shaded mainly noon to afternoon sun. All the afternoon sun was shaded off of it. And man, I mean, it protected the heck out of these things because they really look good. This one looks not quite as good as the rest of them, but it's because it fell over and it's just gotten too heavy. It's got too many fruit on it, and it's gotten too tall. So I need to run some more of my strings up in here where it'll hold it. But it was 42 degrees this morning, and at 42 degrees, we're not too far from a frost. Now it's going to warm up. We're getting a little warmer the next week, maybe two. So hopefully we're going to miss that frost, and it's going to be, you know, later in maybe in November. Hopefully, our first frost is typically middle November. So hopefully that's what's going to happen. But I just want to show you the peppers. They're really looking good. I'm going to save these peppers. One of my viewers, I believe is Miss Tambra, said she saved her pepper plants last year, and that's what I'm going to try to do this year. I watched a video of a guy doing it, and how he did it, and I've got 6 plants per earth box. I know that sounds like a lot, but it's what they suggest. And I think you can tell each one of these has 6 plants. Each one of these boxes has 6 plants. I tell you what, that's the prettiest roundest growth plant that I've seen. I mean, that's the heatless habanero, and it just I don't know, it just really bushy and full. But there's 6 of those things in there. I mean, it's 6 is not too many. So, you know, if you plant in earth boxes, if you're scared to plant in earth boxes, you think you can't grow anything or think they're too expensive or whatever, you can put so much stuff in an earth box. You know, I'm going to be doing some raised bed gardening this year that I didn't do last year with the new veggies beds, but still going to love these earth boxes. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with my wicking tubs over there yet. I think I'm going to plant onions in them. I just do all my onion plantings this year in the wicking tubs, in the red tubs. I did that about 3 years ago, and they did great, really good. And so you can plant onions in wicking tubs. Now, if you want a bunch of onions, you know, if you want hundreds and hundreds of onions, then you need to put them in the ground. But if you just, you know, I would say you can get 10 or 12, 15, maybe 20 nice size onions in the wicking tubs. So you know, if you just need a few, then I would highly recommend putting onions in a wicking tub. But here's a tomato plant. This is one of them is a mountain vineyard. This one I believe is mountain vineyard. You put 2 tomatoes in an earth box. One is a mountain vineyard. The other one is a sun gold, I believe. And they're starting to make. They've got a lot of blooms on them, tons of blooms. I just don't know. if that cold weather is going to stay gone long enough to really make any tomatoes. But I got some green ones too. I mean, I should be able to get a few tomatoes off of them. But that sun almost killed them. I mean, even though I had them shade cloth, that sun got real close to just doing them in. But now they're starting. I've got 1 or 2 little orange ones on there. But so shade cloth kept these alive too. Don't know whether I'm gonna get anything off of them because it hurt them so bad, even with the shade cloth on them. But I do have a ton of blooms. If I had another month of growing, I could probably get a bunch of tomatoes. I just don't know if I've got time to get any more off these right now. But I know how to save them now, and that's with shade cloth. I know how to save them in a hard summer, and I may do it. I don't care what the summer's like. I may go ahead and do it anyway every summer. Now that I've already bought the shade cloth, I don't know why I wouldn't. But here's the backside of those pepper plants. I mean, some really nice peppers, and they're not through growing yet. Nice ones. Nice jalapenos. They're doing good. They're doing good now. So I highly recommend that you invest in some shade cloth. I put some shade cloth underneath. I put the shade cloth I used underneath these. And maybe you can save yours next year. If you're in Australia, maybe you can save yours pretty soon, because y'all fixing to have a summer and it may be a hot one. Shade cloth, shade cloth, shade cloth. I really believe in it now because I have proven that it works. And just wanted to show you the peppers and such that stayed alive because of the shade cloth. Not everything. I didn't shade cloth the cucumbers and stuff like that. They went away pretty quick. But the peppers, and you would think peppers would love the sun. You would think the peppers would love the heat. They raise them way down in Mexico and stuff. But I lost them all last year and did not lose any of them this year. So I'm pleased about that. And this was a hot, hot summer. All right, get you some shade cloth. Again, I'll have some posted below. Have my link to it below, and get you some for next year, or make sure you look for it next summer and try to get you some shade cloth on yours. Save your plants from the heat with shade cloth. It works, dadgummit, it works. All right, I've taken way too much of your time, but I do appreciate y'all and appreciate your time. And we're gone.